Turn up your radio. It's time for DeLorean Talk with your host, Dave Tavers.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of DeLorean Talk. It's been a while, but I think I say that at the beginning of every episode. Thanks for tuning in. I am really excited to have Todd Bustillo and Chris Miles on the show today. Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave.
Todd has the YouTube channel DeLorean Tech, and he has done an amazing number of videos over the last several years since he got his DeLorean, and so much information on there. So if you haven't watched the channel, go find it, tune in. Todd, what are your socials or URLs or anything you want to share?
So the website is DeLoreanDirectory.com, which would kind of get you into the YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, et cetera, et cetera.
Good.
So if you were to just type in DeLorean Tech, all one word, you'd probably find something, right?
Find it somewhere. And Chris, what's your website?
I do have my own page on Todd's website where my parts catalog is being hosted, and I try to give that out to as many people that want to see it. Made some new connections at DCS myself. It works well.
What's the URL?
DeLorean Technologies, which is a subset of DeLorean Tech, where we're highlighting different parts solutions and different for sale ads. If we are highlighting a car for sale, or Todd has some of his clear Euro lenses up there that people can get in touch with him about, my parts catalog. So DeLoreanTechnology.com.
Cool. Well, this episode, if you saw the headline by now, is about a DCS 2023 wrap-up. All three of us went to the DCS show up in Illinois this year, or actually last week. And again, fantastic show. I love going to these because it's just a chance to get to meet and talk to people that you just don't normally get to see and talk to in person. This is just us talking about what we enjoyed and what we found interesting about the show, or the cars, or the people. I got my DeLorean at the end of 2015. I missed Ken Konselick's last DCS, but this was my third DCS, I think, or fourth. And it was great. It was having Zach DeLorean, John's son, come again this year. He did 2 years ago as well. It was awesome. There were 70, I say 56 cars drove there, but there were 78 cars total, which included all the cars that were in Mike's shop at DeLorean Midwest.
I believe Todd did a head count video that he posted on all the different cars that showed up.
Yeah, I tried to. It was hard because there were so many, but DeLorean Midwest on their YouTube channel, DeLorean Nation, actually did a 78 DeLorean video kind of highlighting how many cars were there, which you're right, Dave, it was 78. I think in my video, which was just a YouTube short, I counted up like 52, but that didn't include like some of the cars that kind of came and went, and then some of the cars on the inside and stuff like that. So,
well, it was a good turnout.
Great turnout.
I know. Let's see. In Orange County, what's the biggest number that you've seen down there?
Well, so Chris, remember Stainless Summer 2? I think we had 21 and 21. So 21 DeLorean in 2021.
And 2021, awesome.
I don't remember how many we had at the Peterson event. There was a lot there.
Nice. Well, DCS at Pheasant Run. Were you at that one, Todd?
No.
Yeah, you hadn't gotten your car yet. That was, I mean, that was inside the building. I don't remember, but there was a lot of cars there.
There were probably more cars at that, maybe. Yeah, it was full.
Yeah, it was full. I'd probably say there were 70-something, but they all drove there. They weren't in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that Mike and Susie hosted at DeLorean Midwest. They got a great shop. I say it all the time, I'm not a car guy, but I was so excited and impressed to see that LS4 rolling chassis. Like, that was impressive.
Yeah. That was so cool.
I'm not an engine guy, but I think that is the future of the DeLorean. As in coming years, people are just going to want another engine And while it's not K-Jet, that looked really clean. And I think that they didn't have to do any modifications to the chassis for that engine, right?
No, it all fits.
Yeah, it all fits. Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea, is that when you start cutting up the frame, you start to compromise the integrity, and that's what Josh Shattenkirk has made his goal, is to be able to do a non-invasive engine swap, right? Where other guys are just kind of chopping up the frame, and it just looks, ridiculous, right?
Yeah, and I love the brakes on that car too. That's obviously more power. You need more braking, and I love that those are new calipers from Mazda that you can get basically aftermarket, and it doesn't require special machining. It doesn't require hacking off part of the frame. I'm really interested in that too.
Yeah, the brakes are definitely a must if you're going to go with a big V8 motor like LS4. So they have a brake kit for the front. I think they're working on one for the rear. I don't remember what was on the rear over there.
I think it was stock, because they haven't found a solution for the emergency brake yet. That's their blocker.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, the fronts are little big brake kit from Flying Miata, and they just kind of adapted it. Josh adapted also be able to accommodate the 14-inch wheels if you want to run the originals. Then you can kind of upgrade to an 11-inch rotor if you want to run like 15s in the front as well, or larger, right? But you have to do some suspension upgrades as well. They have the Inconel trailing arm bolts that they highly recommend. And then, of course, the PW suspension, or any kind of like high performance coilover suspension is just recommended when you're running, that kind of a motor in the car.
I think all of us are a big advocate for KW at the moment. They probably have the best thing going on right now.
Yeah, KW, and then polyurethane bushings. You're probably going to need to run that, and a lot of the suspension components. It's just the amount of power we're talking about. If you go with a supercharged LS4, we're talking over 500 horsepower at the wheels.
In a car that weighs less than 3,000 pounds.
Right. So you definitely need to do some upgrades to some of the other components that are moving around, right? The chassis itself is fine. They've said it, right? And you don't need to use stainless chassis and all that kind of stuff. You're fine with the original. As long as it's, in good shape. You don't want something that's rusted out and all that.
Right.
That's another thing we've got to watch out for.
Well, that was a big thing for me. Seeing that was impressive and interesting, because I'm not an engine guy, but I can definitely see that being the future. Chris, did you have any favorite things that stuck out about the show in general?
I always enjoy getting to meet people that I know from the internet and all the different DeLorean pages. It's kind of interesting when you have someone, run up to you and know who you are. And and that would kind of happen with you and I when I first met you, because you did the podcast, and I thought you were someone important. And
right. And then you found out the truth.
Yeah. That's really enjoyable to meet everybody. It's almost like a family reunion in a way, where you get to see all the guys that you haven't seen since the last show. Of course, all the guest speakers were very interesting. It was very nice that Nick Sutton made the journey all the way from England and came to the show. He's a wealth of knowledge. He was there during the whole thing, and he knows pretty much everything that was going on at the factory, and how they were getting parts and the assembly of the car and all that. Yeah. I think he was probably one of my favorite guests.
Yeah, same here, Nick Sutton for sure. I was actually able to catch him in the DeLorean Museum. I was just starting to do a little filming in there, like I did last year, and he happened to be there, and it just so happened he had some blueprints of the assembly line that was, in the plant, and he actually walked me through the whole, the whole schematic.
Wow.
From sort of the end, and I recorded the whole thing, so we'll be putting that up on the channel pretty soon.
Oh,
that
man.
Was a highlight. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be excited to see that. That sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, the DeLorean Museum itself that Matt Sommer brought was obviously pretty cool. But I think the highlight there for me, I don't know if you caught the glass case that he brought, some of those original Hot Wheels prototype DeLoreans that never saw production. I actually requested that he bring those because I really wanted to see those in person. I had only seen those in like photos and stuff on the internet. And as a big collector of Hot Wheels DeLoreans, that was kind of a big deal for me. And we ended up, pulling them out of the case and taking them over to a conference room, and we did an in-depth video, sort of like expose on all of those prototypes that he brought. So that was actually a really big high point for me.
There's an early episode here with Manson Chung, who works at Hot Wheels, or he used to, and I know he did one of the newer DeLoreans when they brought him back. Too bad he wasn't there to see those. I bet he'd have some great history.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting because I think there is a gap between 1985 and 2010 where Hot Wheels did not produce a DeLorean die-cast car, with the exception of there's some Japanese ones that were produced back in like 2001. But as far as like domestic Hot Wheels cars, there's this really big gap, right? So 1985, you had what we call the Turismos, which Hot Wheels ended up just pushing those prototypes out with some modifications, not calling it a DeLorean. But between 85 and 2010, there was nothing there. So it's just interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. Matt's collection is freaking amazing. That is crazy dedication.
Yeah, he's got one of the biggest collections out there, I think, if not the biggest of that type of stuff.
It's got to be the biggest. I can't imagine who would have more.
Right.
It is just nonstop of you turn around and there's somebody else that you either met years ago or have talked to online, and you end up talking and visiting, and then 35 minutes go by and then it's like, oh, there's somebody else. Fantastic. For anybody that doesn't go to these shows, sincerely, you are missing out. It's not that expensive. If you've been thinking about it, don't miss these. I know right now Mark Woodsma, this is a podcast, so you can listen whenever, but Mark Woodsma is putting together DeLorean Connect out of San Francisco. So if you get a chance, go to that. It's just a matter of getting there. And even if you don't have your DeLorean, go if you're an owner. Like Chris said, it's a family reunion. You get a chance to get to know people. We are part of a unique group of people, right? I mean, we're not Ferrari owners, but how many Mustangs did they make? Sure, they have lots of Mustang shows, but there's not a lot of DeLoreans left.
Oh, that's true. I know, Chris, you're going to be going to DeLorean Connect, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm planning on it. It's going to be in September. If any California owners are listening, it would be a good opportunity to meet different owners and get together. It's going to be a day show. The idea is that we want to build this up as something that could grow into, multi-day event. It's going to be in the Bay Area. It's only 3 hours for me, so I shouldn't have any
you better be there
not to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I started off talking about DeLorean Midwest and the shop, but that was actually a separate event. DCS was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the open house was on Saturday. I know that they are separate entities and totally not connected, but basically, everybody, it's one big event. I just loved being able to catch people in the hallway at the DCS event and talk. Not at all a problem or a complaint. I tend to enjoy the one-on-one interactions or the one-on-5 interactions more than listening to speakers for many hours. And I just feel like I get to know people so much better and hear their stories. So that's just not a criticism. It's a personal thing. As we lose more and more of these special DeLorean people, it's great that they're coming. And again, Todd, I know I told you in person, I'm so thankful that you are video recording all this stuff, because sooner than later, that's going to be the only record of these people talking about DeLorean stuff. And yeah, there's years past, there have been other events and people have recorded, but I don't know. I think we've all seen all those videos from the past, and your stuff is just way better, short of full-on documentary series.
Yeah, thanks for that. And there's also some other video that we've been taking outside the event, right? Like at Midwest, or just in the parking lot, things like that we just did some recording and editing the videos together and then putting it out there. So I think I've already put out about, I don't know, maybe 4 videos. I've got like maybe got a list here about 7 more to go from this year's DCS.
Man, it just goes by so fast because all the visiting and meeting Alex from Germany, he was just a blast, and his book, beautiful.
Right, Looking Inside. Yeah, it's an awesome book, and he brought out some of his vinyl records, like his LPs and tapes that have like the DeLorean. There's some DeLorean art on there, which was pretty cool. So yeah, and we got to hang out with him quite a bit during the show. It was actually pretty cool meeting and hanging out with him.
He seems to be really passionate about the car. He's one of the rare owners that he didn't get into it because of the movie.
Right.
He said several times he didn't see the movie till like the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So that's cool to get that perspective. He likes the car because it's cool. And
Ace Frehley. Yeah, Ace Frehley is really who owned a DeLorean, right, from KISS. And that's really what he got the passion for the DeLorean from. So it's a very interesting. And for most of us, it was kind of Back to the Future and seeing the car on TV and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention, going kind of on your idea, Dave, about all of the talks. I really like the talks, but I'd also like maybe a few less talks per day, so we do have that face-to-face time, hanging out in the parking lot and just
trading stories.
Yeah, exactly.
It's trading the stories, and it's that so many people there, you get so much more opportunity to say, what did you do to your car? And say, show it to me. And then they can point it out, and you get to look at it, and it's not just seeing it online or a video, but seeing it in person makes such a big difference. And then being able to debate and figure it out. Say, oh, why'd you do it that way? And learning it. Yeah, there is something about that face-to-face.
I know I got tied up talking out in the parking lot, and I missed one of the talks, but it's like, okay, it's fine. And I got to meet the owner of the car that I recently sold and got to do a drive in it with him, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you had bought a project car, did a bunch of work to it, put it up for sale, and then this guy, you're in Fresno, California, and this guy bought it in, where does he live?
Kentucky.
And then he drove it to the show. He's only had it a few months, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. You have more patience than me. I have enough work with my own car. I couldn't have a project car.
It was a good experience, and it's rewarding, and it's even better to know that he was able to drive it all that way, and it's fine.
Yeah. John DeLorean's personal secretary. What did you guys think of her?
Oh, it was great to get that perspective.
Yeah. No, she was great. Very nice lady. Got to talk with her offline as well. And very
professional.
Yeah, very professional, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It was always Mr. DeLorean. That's how she referred to him all the time. So I thought that was really cute, actually.
Yeah. Well, different era.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to tell other people about back home when you're talking to other DeLorean owners that didn't go?
Oh, they missed out. But there's always next time, right? So, we post a lot of photos. I post a lot of photos, like online and obviously with the videos. And I get people messaging me, oh, man, that looks so fun. Like, I want to go next time, right? So 2 years ago, Chris, when we went, it was you, me, and Skip. This year, it was you, me, Skip, and then Gordon, and then Chris Hogard, and then Dustin all came out. We doubled our attendance. And,
right.
I think you may even triple it next time. We'll have to see. I know Chad is interested in coming out. He just messaged me today. He's like, oh, I got to go, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they kind of missed out, but there's always going to be another show. And I think as long as we, continue spreading the word and getting it out there that, hey, this is a great show and you guys all need to come, we'll probably get more folks to attend.
I know when I first got my car, about 6 months later, was basically the last show over in Europe. And everybody was saying, oh, you got to go. And it was just a lot of money to travel to Europe and do this. And I'm still kicking myself for not going because it was a big show. A lot of people were there, a lot of cars. I'm willing to make a bet there's not going to be another European DeLorean show like that. So you never know when there's not going to be another show. So you got to go whenever they're coming up. How do we convince people that they need to commit to going? Well, like I'm friends with Sean Knight, president of the Pacific Northwest DeLorean Club, and I harped on him for 9 months. Said, you got to come to this. How do we convince people that it's worth their time to come if they're DeLorean owners who are actually fans?
Well, for my part, it's really just getting the content of the show out there so they can know what to expect. A lot of folks who hadn't gone to the show, talked to me and said, yeah, I saw your videos from, the previous year, and it was really great that you put that together, because I didn't know really what to expect, in the show, but they were able to see what happens at the show, and it kind of piqued their interest, because, it's highlights and, it's all good, but I try to put out a lot of the good stuff, make it somewhat entertaining as much as I can, and just, show the fun aspect of it. And I think that really kind of breaks the ice for some people, because a lot of DeLorean owners aren't really just don't go out too much, right? Yeah. And they don't know what to expect. Maybe they're a little shy to just kind of show up to an event like that, not knowing anyone. And if they know people who are going to be there, like me and, or Chris or whoever, yourself, Dave, maybe they're more comfortable and obviously seeing the content or reading about it or whatever, getting an idea of what to expect from future shows. It might make them more comfortable in attending. It's almost like you're advertising the sort of the social aspect of it, I think, the most, because that is what I think might be more of the challenge for some owners versus just, I want to come out because I want to see, Nick Sutton put on a presentation. There's a lot more to it that I think we need to sort of promote, right, Chris?
Yeah. And then, it's always helpful to know, what's going to be going on, 3 months before or 6 months, 6 months before, but
doesn't happen really. Yeah. The agendas don't always come out, but yeah, you're right. Knowing what's going to be coming up so that those of us that have been can help promote it and try to get people excited to come.
One thing I did this year was, for DeLorean Tech's 5th anniversary, I put it out there that, hey, come celebrate with us at DCS 2023, and we'll be there, and just to let everyone know that, hey, we're going to be out there, and if you're, familiar with us, obviously me and Chris from the channel, then, hey, here's a chance for you guys to, meet us and, and interact and that kind of thing. So I threw that one out there as well, just to, maybe help generate more interest, at least for my part.
For me now, moving to basically the middle of nowhere, Missouri, from Southern California and Las Vegas, there's no cars. Where I'm at in Marceline is literally 2 hours west to get to Kansas City, Missouri, and 3 hours east to get to St. Louis. It doesn't sound like there's any other DeLoreans between those two big cities other than me. But talking about the community, and if you are concerned about coming to a show, whether it's a bigger show like DCS or a local thing, if you show up in your DeLorean, you're going to be instantly connected with people. I went and tracked down my new group, which is kind of the Chicago, Illinois, St. Louis area, and met 4 or 5 of those guys. And they were all super friendly and nice, and traded phone numbers, and I got connected with those guys. So if anybody out there is concerned about, I don't know anybody, sincerely I say, don't worry. If you just say hello to one person, they're going to talk to you. They're going to ask you about your car. You're going to talk about their car, and then someone else is just going to walk up and start talking to you, and you're going to be connected really easily. It's such a great community. At least the people that show up to the shows generally are not stuck up. We all love the car, and we love to share and talk about it.
A lot of genuine owners out there.
Yeah,
I agree. And there was a couple of owners that wanted to meet you as well. Like, I mentioned your name, and they're like, "Oh, Chris is here too." I go, "Yeah, you know Chris?" Like, "Yeah, have you talked to him yet?" I go, "No." "Well, I'll introduce you." And I tried to do that a few times, right? I think in the presentation room, there was a few folks that wanted to meet you. So
Well, and look at Tanner Brown, the kid with the handlebar mustache. Super nice kid.
Right.
I think the newest owner there. I think he got his car in April, and
Mm-hmm.
I ended up talking to him and his dad for quite a while. And at some point I said something about Chris, and he's like, "Wait, is Chris Miles here?" I was like, "Yeah." And
There you go.
we literally walked everywhere looking for him. I'm like, "Where?" And then I had to text Chris and like, "Where are you?" And I'll be right there. And then once I connected you guys, I was like, I was on to somebody else. Yeah, the open house really was great. There was just so much time to get to talk to people and see all those cars there. And Anthony Zamfoni, not enough time to chat with him. All the people, Mike. It's so great that they're doing well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can tell Mike was really pleased with the turnout, I think, and now that they have Josh Shattenkirk over there too, it generated a lot of interest as well. So I was really cool finally meeting Josh Shattenkirk in person and hanging out with him and getting to ride in his car, and even Anthony, my son, got to ride in his car too. So that was a really big highlight of our trip, I think, was meeting
Cool.
Josh and hanging out with him. Yeah, talking shop, talking DeLoreans.
So did you ride in an LS4?
Yeah, Josh's personal car.
Is an LS4?
Yep.
Did he give it some power?
Oh yeah. I'm doing full video on that one.
Nice.
So I don't know if you remember the video I did on Nick Reed's car. It's a twin turbo Kia swap Stinger. It's gonna be very much the same sort of video as that one. At the end, I'm going to decide and reveal which car is faster, just from my own perspective.
Little competition there.
Yeah, since we won't be able to race the two cars, right? I mean, Nick sold that car, right? I think he sold it for like $248,000, right, Chris?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I think that's a record, at least from what I can tell. I mean, for just a DeLorean, just a stock-ish
souped-up DeLorean, yeah, not a one-off Ferrari. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think the record for the most expensive DeLorean was one of the Back to the Future cars that the Shays picked up for, I don't know how much they paid, $500,000 or something like that. But from there, you had Nick Reed's car for $248,000. But anyway, that car, right, a very, very fast car as well. And Josh, which he's got the LS4, makes more horsepower at the wheels. So, but a little heavier possibly. But I'll reveal like which car I felt was the fastest in my upcoming video.
Cool.
I don't want to spoil anything.
No, don't. I know this is a DCS wrap-up, but talk to a couple of people, and you're talking about whether it's that twin turbo that got sold, or we've been seeing the prices go up, and several people have talked about the fact that some of the people that are buying these cars, they're not part of the community. They don't want to be part of the community. They are car collectors, so they're buying these cars, putting them in their garage with their other 2 or 4 or 10 classic cars. They're not driving them. They're not bringing them to shows. I have a concern that as the prices keep going up, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we're going to have dwindling numbers because a lot of these cars are going to end up in private collections and not being driven. Is that a crazy thought?
I think that's somewhat true. People are buying these cars now because of the collectability. They've finally figured out that they're cool. They're not just some
crappy movie car.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not going to be all of them, but there are going to be some serious car collectors, I think, going to acquire them. But we also have the luxury of having, for a limited production car, there's still quite a few of them out there,
Yeah. 19 years ago was the 8,500 number. 19 years ago. On the West Coast alone, in my short 7 years ownership, a dozen have been, or 10 of them have been destroyed beyond recovery. And that's just in a short 7 years. So I still say that there's about 4,500 left in the world. I just, the numbers are getting smaller. Thankfully, people are finding them in the garages and the barns and bringing them back to life. But I don't know, I have a little fear that there's going to be more of the car collectors that are buying them and sticking them away. And that's where they're going to stay. If you're listening to this and you are thinking of buying a DeLorean, get involved. Drive the car, enjoy it, and come out and get to know other owners.
Yeah, and that's kind of how you and I met, right, Dave? I mean, I was trying to find a car, and I reached out, and you and Mark showed up and kind of walked me through what to look for, and buying a DeLorean, and
You did it the right way. I mean, I didn't do it the right way. I was the normal DeLorean goggles, buy the car, dump a bunch of money into it, not having a clue what I was really doing, even though I thought I knew a lot, but you really did it right. We're going to do an episode with Todd to talk about his, just like with everybody else, his evolution into wanting the car, how he bought the car, and what he's done with it at some point in the future.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Good.
The only way that we ensure that more shows happen is by attending and, supporting the whole event and always willing to come out, because if the interest isn't there, I don't think we'll be seeing them.
Yeah. I think it does make it easier if you know any other DeLorean owners, go with them. Look at, the Fosters. They brought several people with them from the East Coast, and several of the, more local regional clubs came out. But for West Coast, I know that one of the comments Ken Konsolek had about doing the shows is that he knew the numbers. He knew where everybody came from. And West Coast people would complain, oh, you never do one on the West Coast. But then, he did one in Vegas, and there just wasn't as big a turnout. So he did it in the Midwest, and just West Coast people weren't showing up. So it was nice to see so many West Coast people coming to DCS this year.
Right. No, I agree with that.
And you don't need to have your car. You can fly. It's okay.
Yeah, one of the things I think I liked a lot too about this year's DCS was they had a couple presentations on Saturday morning about the restoration of the A car, and that was presented by Steve
Concatelli.
There you go. And that was really cool. I thought that was very interesting. As a big fan of the A car myself, being able to meet him and listen to him talk. And then, of course, they followed up with another presentation. Kevin Thomas, who works for Midwest, and Steve put together that non-invasive time machine conversion, which I thought was extremely well done. I mean, it was one of the cleanest time machine conversions I've ever seen. And, I'll be publishing a video on that one as well. Really impressed by the work that Kevin and Steve did on that, and to be able to see the time machine up close, up close and personal a couple of times during the show, after the presentation over at Midwest, and then at the ice cream social at night, and being able to see the car all lit up. I can honestly say that's probably one of the most impressive time machine conversions I've ever seen. So that was a big highlight for me, I think.
Yeah, that was a beautiful car. And I'm Steve, who shot that documentary, Out of Time, if you haven't seen it, which would be shocking, go find it. It is great. He didn't own a DeLorean until just a couple years ago. So it was great that he finally got a DeLorean. And then they decided to do a time machine conversion, and that car is beautiful. They've done a great job.
Yeah, really great job. I know even Mike from Midwest, I was talking to him about it, and he got to drive it around, and he was like, wow, I can't believe how nice this thing runs for a time machine. You wouldn't expect a time machine to run nice. He'd expect it to be all rattling and heavy, and even Mike from Midwest was impressed with the build. Very high quality, and again, non-invasive. They did not have to drill into the car, and they showed, during the presentation, how they were able to accomplish all of that, right? And that really kind of sets the bar, right, when it comes to time machines, because, you've got time machine conversion guys that are drilling in the cars, and the other side of the community is like, oh, we don't want you to drill into the car, right? So, and here's sort of the answer, right? You don't have to do that. Other ways around it, You just got to think about it.
Yeah.
I think they had 4 time machines. I know Terry and Oliver Haller brought theirs out like they usually do. And then you had, I think, Eric brought his out, and then there was also, I can't remember the gentleman's name, who won the first place in the full custom. His time machine won first place in the full custom class at the Midwest show. That was a pretty cool time machine as well. So yeah, if you're into that, I mean, this is definitely one of the shows to come out to, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it was great to see everybody, and I do enjoy doing these shows. It's just life gets in the way. I will work on doing more. I gotta say, so many people at the show were so complimentary and just really enjoy the podcast, and it does inspire me to get back to doing it more. Do you guys have anything else you want to share about the show?
I just wanted to, give my thanks to Rich Weisensoul for putting the show on, right? So I wanted to make sure that I get my thanks in to Rich and try to, promote the DeLorean ownership experience, right? And, I'm sure there'll be more in the future.
Chris?
I just want to thank everyone for all their hard work. It takes a lot to put on a show like that, and it really shows, and everyone has a great time.
Yep. And if it wasn't for people showing up, there wouldn't be a show no matter who puts it on. So, like Todd said, commit to it. Come out. You will have a good time.
We'll make sure you have a good time.
Exactly. Cool. Well, thanks again, you guys, for coming on, and I'm looking forward to doing several more episodes with the people that I talked to during this last DCS 2023. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Todd and Chris. Looking forward to hearing from you. Reach out, check out Todd's channel. Again, Todd, give the URLs.
So DeLoreanTech.com, or you can just go to YouTube/DeLoreanTech.
And Chris?
DeLoreanTechnologies.com for parts and other solutions.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and hopefully see you out there on the road.
Thanks,
Sounds good.
Appreciate it.